Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 181. And today we're here with Russ from Acuity Instruments. Russ, what's up, brother?
Going pretty well.
Man, thank you for being on the podcast, man. I appreciate it.
So, it's Acuity.
Acuity.
But it's okay.
Acuity. What did I say?
Acuity. Acuity. Or Acuity. I don't know.
I
get confused.
It's so hard. Acuity.
So doesn't matter, man. All you need to know is our stuff is purple and it's pretty nice.
Well, that's my first question. So let's start off with these. Why Acuity?
So when we started out, the first product that we made was Hall Effect TPS that works on the RSX and the EP3. You know, people like them for case swaps. And I mean, you've done swaps. You know what it's like to use some of the TPSs that are out there, whether you get the ones that are from overseas that just have low quality, or all the different aftermarket ones. Like, it's kind of hard to get one that's pretty decent and that reads reliably, especially if you have like really stiff motor mounts.
Yeah. And
your engine's vibrating a lot. So that was the first product that we went after. And we wanted to pick a name that basically just said what we were all about, like making sensors. At the time, we thought we were going to make a lot of sensors. It didn't turn out that way. We just made the one. But we wanted a name that basically meant like accuracy or precision.
Gotcha.
And so Acuity is like, you know, visual acuity when you go to the optometrist, when you're reading the little lines on the board. So that's where that came from.
Gotcha. Do you run into issues a lot with the name?
Like people saying it?
Yeah.
Not really, dude, because, I mean, how often are people really saying things anymore? Everything's on Instagram.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, when they say it wrong, like, a lot of times they're like, I really don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to say whatever. And we're like, whatever. We, probably should have picked something that you could pronounce better.
That was me. That was the first thing I asked you. Dude. And I still messed it up.
That's like, you'll probably agree with this with marketing. Like, if the customer doesn't get the message, it's probably on you or me. You know what I mean? Like, so when people say the name wrong, I'm like, well, shit, that's on me for picking that name. I should have done some market research.
Well, the way that you went after finding the name, that makes total sense, But once, I know how it is when you're building a brand, you get the name and you don't look at it from like the outside, and then you finally show somebody. And they're like, oh, Acuity, I like that. And you're like, no. And then you first realize, like, oh, shit.
You're like, shit, that's not me.
And you know what's crazy, dude, is, WeekFest, right?
Yep.
Dude, the WeekFest, I tell this story all the time. WeekFest started from the shop in San Jose, which was called Week Sauce. They started the festival, which was WeekFest. Then that spread, and they're doing their tour, all around the world. But for some reason, people down south in the East Coast and pretty much that side of the country that's not California, it's WeekFest. And I'm like, no, it's not WeekFest. It's WeekFest.
Now, do you think that everybody on our side of the country says it wrong because of like a dialect difference, or just because they're not as plugged into the car culture around you guys?
They just don't know where the name is from, because the shop is Week Sauce. So
if they knew it was from Week Sauce, I think they'd...
Yeah, and I've explained it to people, and then a few minutes later, I'll be like, yeah, so anyways, WeekFest is next month, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you just got to let it go. You just got to let it be. You're like, shit, it's WeekFest now.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But shout out to WeekFest, man. But, okay, so second question, the purple.
The purple was a decision that we made, and we were like, this is either going to be a really good idea or it's going to hose us.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sell anything. So, like, the reason we picked purple was because you really just don't see it in the automotive aftermarket. I mean, you make purple parts. Everybody, like, makes purple parts. But, like, you don't really see a brand where they're like, our color's purple. You see red and black a lot, especially because it comes from, like, the Type R and the SI and everything like that. So people expect that with performance. But it's as cool as red and black look together, like for like a performance angle, it's been done so many times that it's not recognizable as like a brand like color scheme anymore. So we were like, you know how it is in the industry. You got to stand out, and you got to fight to stand out.
Yeah.
So we just said, screw it. Nobody's using this, or very few people are using it. So let's use it. But like I think that the comfort level with purple is a little weird for some people to kind of like um, understand, but for us, it makes a lot more sense. So, my business partner and I, we both went to LSU, Louisiana State University,
Okay.
and so their colors are purple and gold. And then since we're in southern Louisiana, we have Mardi Gras every year, and that's the big thing in New Orleans, Mardi Gras, right? Why
Yeah.
does everybody go to New Orleans? They want to celebrate Mardi Gras, and those colors are purple, green, and gold. So we're kind of like in the city that we're in, we're kind of immersed in a culture that's like really comfortable with purple. I
Gotcha.
mean, you see grown ass like alpha male dudes walking around town all day in purple.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to us. I think for other people maybe it's that like it's a little bit more of like a feminine color or something. But
Yeah.
around here it's totally different.
Got you. Got you. I feel you on that, dude. Have you ever read the book called Purple Cow?
No, I haven't.
Got you. I haven't finished it. I actually read probably like 1.5 pages, so I still have a little more to go on it. But it's like a entrepreneur book, and it's basically saying kind of the something about like marketing, the color purple, something to stand out. Like you're gonna need a cow that's purple. If you see a purple cow, it's gonna stand out. What is that about? But
Yep.
and then too, as far as the color purple, I mean, me from like hip hop culture, I'm down with that. From like Cameron,
Yeah.
Purple Haze, back in the day,
Yep.
it was like I think probably around maybe the early 2000s is when I gave up that colors meant effeminate things. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I don't think like the younger culture feels like that either. I think that's more about like maybe like our generation and the people before us.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
felt like they had to be something. Now everybody just feels like they have to be unique, and whatever they have to do, they
Yeah.
do that.
And then I remember seeing baby pictures of myself, and my dad would have like pink Lacoste polos on. I said, "What the hell is that, Dad?"
That stuff was dope, man. We
Back
need
in the
that again.
day.
Yeah, dude.
Dope, man. So you guys are out in Baton Rouge, you say?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we're like, it's like an hour and a half northwest of New Orleans.
Got you.
So close enough that in college we got into a lot of trouble down there.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, so we're in Baton Rouge right now. And in about it's a little over a year, we're going to be moving to Atlanta.
Ooh, I love it.
Probably like the northeast part of Atlanta.
Okay.
It's not really like a strategic move for the business. Since we're web based, we can kind of operate anywhere. But everybody at Acuity has lived in Baton Rouge or like near Baton Rouge for most of their life, and everybody just kind of has an itch to live somewhere a little bit bigger with a little bit more going on. It's more centrally located in terms of racetracks,
Yeah.
and we love going racing, so that's a little bit easier too. And then by being in Atlanta, you're by the Delta hub, so like flights are hella cheap.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
by us, we've got like a smaller airport, so it's a little bit more expensive to travel.
Got you. How you feeling about traveling
So
right now?
I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of driving.
I feel you on that.
I'm supposed to be. I got family in Raleigh, and I'm supposed to be visiting them next month. And it's like I want to say it's about 1,000 miles, and I'm driving it.
Oh man, that might
Have
be
you
the
flown
better
yet?
thing. No,
Are
I
you gonna?
I don't know, man. I have events coming in September, but shit feels like we're going backwards right now. So I don't know how
What
things
what
are
all are you
gonna look.
going to? So we're supposed to be going to IBOC, so
Okay,
we'll see you there at that as long as that happens.
iBox SoCal.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Right, because that's like it's like the 17th or the 18th of September or something like that.
yeah, yeah. And then after that, actually, let me
Or
look up.
no, that's the weekend before that. After that, we have like literally the weekend after IBOC, we're going to be at Import Alliance in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's going to kind of suck because we got to get our booth to SoCal, and then a week later, it's got to be in Atlanta.
Okay, got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, IBOC, just to everybody listening right now, IBOC is September 13th. SoCal, September 13th. And then I guess in October, 24th and 25th in Florida. So, I mean, if things look well, We'll definitely be out there.
Who knows, man?
SoCal will be out there. But after the weekend after that, which I believe is the same weekend as Import Alliance in Atlanta, is H Day in Maryland.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you got to travel.
Yeah, man. So I'm just trying to see how things are gonna be.
Yeah.
They're having H Day in New Hampshire, which is in August, I believe, like the 15th or 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. But we're not gonna be able to make that date just because it was we just didn't have enough time to plan for it. So
It's hard to go to events, man.
it
It's
is,
hard.
man. Speaking of
Everything.
events, I'll get to events right now, but I just want to tap into Atlanta, dude. That's so awesome that you guys are gonna relocate out there. I was telling you before we started that if I was to move anywhere, it would definitely be out in Atlanta. So that's cool.
Do you think you would ever move out of SoCal? You seem pretty rooted, man.
Yeah. So I would want to have a second property. Something in
That's the
Atlanta
dream.
that, yeah, dude, you got to dream big, bro. You know,
You do, dude.
You got to dream big. And all the dreams that I've ever had when I was younger, they really wouldn't even equal to the life we're living right now. So I was kind of like selling myself short back in the
Yeah.
day. So ever since I've got the taste of like, you work hard and then stuff comes out of it, I just keep feeding the machine, man. And it just makes my
Do
dreams a
you
lot bigger.
do you ever have times where like you kind of like forget to dream a little bit in terms of like your own personal life because you get so wrapped up in Downstar and you start to like briefly forget why you do it? Because I definitely have moments like that where I'm like grinding so hard to push our brand
Yeah.
that I kind of like forget about having a personal life, and then I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I'm like, I gotta set some goals or something, like things that I want to do, places I want to go, or
Got
whatever,
you. Well,
so that you feel like you got that
I've
motivation.
I've definitely had those feelings, but in the past few years or so, I've kind of shifted my mentality of how I want things to go, what I want life to look like, and I've been focusing on that a lot more. And that's less money driven and less growing the brand and more of just letting things grow organically.
That's
While
perfect, though. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is because I've lived so much of my 20s living like that. Just, okay, I got to go to this show and this. And dude, there's so many shows that I've gone to, probably hundreds of shows. And a lot of that, I didn't enjoy the time that I was there because I get there early. I'm tired, I'm burnt out. Finally, go to the show, set up, talking to everybody. The show goes by so quick. And then at nighttime, you want to go eat. And after, okay, cool, we'll meet up after. You go eat. And then after you eat, you're like, shit, I'm done. And then, the weekend's over. It's
Yeah,
like, you have to really take time and make sure that you're experiencing the moments that you're
yeah,
having because
yeah,
you're going to come to that harsh realization, and a lot of people never do, but money isn't everything.
sure,
And
yeah,
once you get to that point where all your bills are paid, you have enough money, you're not struggling over that, then you start thinking like, wow, this doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel back in the
yeah,
day. This, if I feel kind of empty, and this money
yeah,
that I have in the bank really isn't doing anything for me because I just bought a new car and that lasted for a few weeks, but I don't feel like I thought I would when I get that car.
yeah,
So it's just what I like to think about it is these moments that we're having. This is the only things that really matters, the moments and the memories, and then everything else, it'll come or go when it's time. You'll make money, you'll lose money, you'll buy things, you'll sell things. It's just the natural progression of things, but it's really about the memories that you have are the only things that really matter.
I absolutely agree with that. Like I feel like I've come to that realization more recently as we've focused less on like I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. Like recently with the growth that we've seen, I'd say like over the last 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of like transitioned from the point of like just feeling like we're grinding and it's taking everything out of us to a point where like we can breathe and we have enough like help that we
Yeah.
can get everything we need to do done without being exhausted. And it's finally gotten me to the point where it's like you say where you're like, I'm just going to enjoy the process now.
Yeah.
And especially with being like last year, we were trying to go to a lot of events and races, and just doing that repetitively kind of wore us out. And I think maybe we were like setting it up in a way where we were wearing ourselves out, that we could have done that better. But now with having to stay, indoors and social distance and everything, man, I don't care what time I have to wake up to go to races and car shows. Like, I just want to go do things. Oh my
Got you.
gosh. So,
So you've been on
yeah.
lockdown pretty bad?
Well, we've been trying to be responsible. Like, there's a lot of people that are going out and partying and stuff. And I mean, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I don't want to contribute to making things worse. So like for me, my fiance, most of the people that work here at Acuity, we've been mostly, staying at home, not going out more than we have to, keeping
Yeah.
face masks on. I mean, we get our socializing in here at the office a little, but
Yeah.
it's not exactly the same. But yeah, we're pretty locked down here. I think it's similar to what you guys are experiencing, except I think maybe you guys have possibly like more rules in place about what you can and can't do with like local government.
Yeah. So what's it like for you? Say if you're gonna go to a restaurant, what would that look like?
Honestly, I haven't.
Okay.
Uh, I know that most of the restaurants are encouraging people to eat outside.
Got you.
So like they've got seating, that's spaced pretty well outside. But from what I've seen, I mean, you'll have a place that's got like 20 tables with like four of them filled.
Got
So
you.
it's not really popping.
Yeah. Out here, I mean, from the outside looking in, it probably looks like there's so much rules and everything in California. But if you were born in California, you're kind of known to like just break the rules. So
You just ignore them.
just ignore
So
them.
we don't have them. You guys ignore them. We all do the same thing.
It's the same. People always talk about like the emissions laws and stuff here in California. I'm like,
Oh, I know you
yeah,
don't pay attention to
but
those.
nobody really cares about it. Like there's so much ways around everything. Whether you have a smog shop that can do it for you, somebody at the
Yeah.
DMV or whatever. You have to take advantage of the loops in the system just the way that the government takes advantage of us. It's the same way, dude. And just
Yeah.
the easiest way that I like to explain it is, people have problems with police and all that. I get that, but like automotive wise, I get that. But you have to realize that their job is to catch you and your job is to not get caught. So if you got caught, that's your fault. And that's how I look at it, and that's how I look at everything. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life, but I know the risk. I know the risk. And if I get a ticket, okay, well, I'll pay the ticket, whatever. But I'm going to live my life however I want to live it. And that's how I've been doing it since this shutdown.
My dad raised me saying it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
There you go. That's the best, man. That's the best. And then I feel like I've lived my a lot of my life really responsibly and by the rules. So I'm kind of like fuck it nowadays, dude.
Yeah, yeah, you're like, yeah, nobody else is playing by the rules, whatever. I'll be nice
Yeah.
to people, I'm not gonna be mean, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that cold air intake on my car and
Oh yeah.
fail smog. Fuck it. Yeah.
Definitely, man. We got a lot of other problems to worry about besides smog, dude. So
For real, dude.
when all of those things get taken care of, when people give attention to that, I'm like, okay, I'll take this. I'll take this stuff seriously. But if you're not taking these other problems seriously, I don't give a shit about your smog problems, whatever you got going on. And guys, that's just
Have
me.
you
Don't take that advice.
while all this COVID stuff has been happening, have you spent much time talking to people abroad, like outside of the United States, about like how they're handling it and stuff?
I haven't, but that's really a great opportunity for
So
sure.
I have been a lot because I've been like really curious about it. So we have vendors in East Asia, whether it's like South Korea or China or Japan. We've got vendors that sell for us in like Singapore, Australia, and then the UK.
Got you.
And I've just been like really curious about how other cultures deal with it. And it's weird, dude. The United States is like we're fucking cowboys, dude. Nobody
Really?
wants to listen to rules. Yeah, dude. Like in China, they all wear the masks. They're like, yeah, we'll wear the masks. It's no problem. But at the same time, it's funny. I talk to them, and they wear the masks because there's rules to wear the masks. And I think that deep down, they believe that the masks help.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of like, like a little resentful that they are forced to wear the mask by the government and that it's not a choice.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, shit's going out of control in the United States, but it's cool that you guys get to decide to make it out of control.
Well, that's the thing. You go to Japan and that's the culture. People would wear the mask, and the first time I went there, I thought it was weird. But after a while, I'm like, no, it's kind of cool. If it's respectful. If you're sick,
Yeah, yeah,
wear the
very
mask.
respectful.
If you have a faulty immune system or whatever it is, you wear the mask. Or however, if you feel comfortable, you wear the mask. So it's not
Yeah.
something weird. You never really touch other people's things, their cards or anything like that. They'll put it on a tray or something like that. So they follow the rules a lot. But then there is a subculture in Japan that just says fuck it. And they do whatever the hell they want to do. They break the rules. They'll do whatever they want to do. And it's because they don't like they don't like to be told what to do. And I feel like that's the US spirit. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
If this is supposed to be the land of the free, dude, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. And if the only thing that you can do to me besides throw me in jail is to give me a fine, that's what I work hard for. I work hard for this money, for these tools, and wherever these tools are going to go, it doesn't really matter to me. These tools are going to go to feed me. These tools are going to go to make me have shelter, for travel or whatever. And then this is miscellaneous.
This is for speeding tickets.
Whatever the hell it is, and that's how I like to live life. And other people, they don't feel like that because they haven't put themselves in that situation where a speeding ticket isn't a big deal. It's just like, okay, it's just a ticket. I'll pay it.
I think people get really confused about the difference between things being illegal and things being immoral.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where that stigma comes from.
Yeah.
Like just this confusion that illegal is immoral.
You know
And
what?
that's not
Actually,
really.
yeah, you're so right about that. I never even thought about it like that, but for sure, man. Because when people think that you break the law or you went to jail or something, it's automatically like, oh, you're a bad person. But when you start diving into it, it's just like that. This doesn't make any sense. And if the government or the people who are in control had to follow the same rules that we had to follow, like they wouldn't be doing the things that they do. There's so much crooked
Yeah.
stuff that goes on that we don't even know about. Just like people, the police being able to give you tickets for tinted windows or stupid things like that. All that is just revenue.
Yeah.
And people are like, you shouldn't have tinted windows because it's illegal. I don't give a shit if it's illegal, bro.
I haven't gotten an inspection sticker in like 3 years on my daily because of the illegal ass tint.
Yeah. So it's just, I have my windshield tinted, dude. And it's like, okay, well, what if you get a ticket? Well, then I'll pay it. And I just think that
Yeah.
people really limit their life experiences due to rules,
Yeah.
And like you said, just because you break the rules doesn't mean that you're an immoral person. Because I feel like my morals are the best that they've ever been in 35 years. And comparing to a lot of other people's morals, I feel that I hold myself a lot higher than others do. Like the things that I do, the way that I treat people, the way that every interaction goes whenever I speak with somebody, I always want to make it a positive interaction. Whether
Yeah.
I'm at the gas station, I ask the clerk how they're doing, how's their day, things like that. I feel like
Yeah,
that
say
is way
please,
more
thank
important,
you.
of course, than having tinted windows. But people,
Yeah.
they'll follow the rules as much as they can, just like people that go, I don't want to get into religion, but people that are very religious people, they follow on those rules, but then behind the scenes, they're doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, no, dude. Let's not go that route.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel you. So, like, funny story, and I don't mean this isn't a gotcha.
Yeah.
My dad was a minister for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, so when he did it, I was younger. He was he was a programmer. And then for some reason, he was like, I want to move my family to the South and be a minister. His heart's too big, maybe.
Yeah.
But he got into it mostly to do like relief work and stuff and like outreach work, not really like spreading the religious word, but just
Gotcha.
like helping communities that need help. Like, you remember when Katrina hit?
Yes.
When Katrina hit, he would go into really wealthy neighborhoods and they would throw out the refrigerators because the power went out or they flooded, and the refrigerators are full of nasty food. And these people are just, they got so much bucket money that they just push the whole refrigerator out to the curb, and they're like, I'll just buy a new one.
Yeah.
So my dad would go and he'd put those in his pickup truck, bring them home, throw out the food, power wash them, clean them, get them nice, and then go to the Section 8 areas, stuff like that, and give away like appliances.
Wow.
But the funny thing was, he loved breaking rules so much. Like, that's all he liked to do. If he could make a rule and get away with it, not like immoral stuff, but just like, if he could, run a red light camera and then get out of it or something like that. He loved that stuff. So I think that's where that attitude came from for me, where you're like, like, be good to people, and then anything else, just do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely, man, because I feel like being good to people, giving off positive energy, and just making somebody's day feel a lot better rather than worse is way more important than so much other stuff that we do throughout our day.
Yeah.
So I try to do that as much as possible. I try to do a lot of things that I struggled with growing up, meaning I really didn't have a lot of people around, a lot of friends, a lot of people that were interested in what I was doing, basically interested in me as a person, besides like
wanting to invest in you.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember how it made me feel, and I never want to make anybody feel like that. And if I can make people not feel like that, I'll do anything that I can. And
just like convincing people that they're intelligent.
Yeah.
Like I know you love to talk about like starting a business and getting motivated to start businesses. Like, too many people have a bad self-image of themselves. Like, I'm stupid, I can't do things, I can't learn.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing for me. Like, telling people like, you're like, you can do things. I've seen you do things that you didn't think you could do.
Yeah.
Go try and do more things that you don't think you can do, because you'll eventually get them.
Yeah. So let's get into it. When did you find that you had the entrepreneur
Dude, I've been trying.
I don't even know what the hell I was. Entrepreneurship inside of you.
I feel you. I got the vibe.
Yeah.
Dude, I tried so many things that failed. That's one thing that everybody needs to hear, right? Like, prepare to fail, and it's okay. I remember when like Kickstarter was really popping off, like maybe a decade ago.
Got you.
Dude, you can go on Kickstarter and find some silly ass videos with me in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was one project I did. So I used to, when I was in college, I built guitars.
Okay.
That was my big thing. I was like into woodworking and like building really high quality instruments, stuff like that. It didn't pay the bills, but it paid some of them, like building guitars and selling them. So in college, I kind of like ran like my own little business online, building and selling my own custom guitars. And that went okay. But I got out of that. Well, one, the house I was living in got the front door kicked down, and everything in it got stolen while I was at school.
Oh, wow.
While I was in college, I came home. It was like it's probably like 8 or 9 at night. It was dark, and the front door of my house was literally on the ground, and there was a big ass footprint on it, dude. Like, someone just kicked that bitch down. And my whole house was dark, and I pulled up, and I was the only one there. And where I lived, it was it wasn't the hood, but it was like 2 blocks away. You could occasionally hear gunshots, right? Like, not all the time, but like, once a month.
Yeah.
I come home, the house is dark. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I call the cops, and you're like, cops aren't gonna show up for like an hour, so let me go in this house. And I didn't have like a gun or anything. I just had like a mag light, and I'm like going through the house like, oh shit. And they had stolen all the guitars that I had built that were still at the house, a bunch of tools, a computer, a bunch of stuff. And when I was in college, and I was broke, so that was everything. So I got out of that because I didn't want to live there anymore. So I moved into an apartment and kind of gave up on guitars. And part of that was I just got sick of building custom guitars for people. People have like the worst taste, just collectively. People would come and ask me to build guitars, and I'd be like, dude, that guitar is whack. I don't want to build that.
It's like a
And so I
Ninja Turtle
charge them
head or
like I'd be
something.
like, that guitar is gonna be $5,000, and they're like sold, and I'm like, shit, man, I gotta build this ugly shit. Uh, so it kind of killed it for me because I wasn't really doing it for me anymore. I was building other people's ideas, and then I got robbed, and I was just like, I'm done. I don't want
Yeah.
to do this anymore. So then I did some Kickstarters. One was this thing called a closet guitar hanger, and it was a way to hang a guitar in your closet.
Okay.
Sounds silly, but it was like basically like a coat hanger that had a thing that like held the neck of the guitar. And I did a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter did okay. Nobody was a millionaire.
Yeah.
But I got enough to do a production batch, and I put them up on Amazon. I made a website, and I'd make like $1,000 a month or something. But nobody was quitting their day job.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to make that thing pop off. So I did another Kickstarter that was called Ferocious.
Okay.
Except it was spelled with two R's instead of one, and it was actually like this little like circuit board. It was probably like this tall, like 6 inches tall total, and it was this glass vial full of magnetic fluid, and it would move to music. So
No
like you'd play
shit.
music, yeah, yeah, and there was like a few ounces of magnetic fluid in it, suspended in this special alcohol, and it had an electromagnet, and it would listen to the sound in the room, and the music would or the fluid would bounce a little bit in the
Yeah.
tube to the music.
Whoa.
Uh, it was cool. It got on like Gizmodo and shit, but we sold like 15,000 of them. 15,000 dollars worth of them.
Got you.
And I mispriced it so bad, dude. I broke even, and I
Oh,
was like, I'm done with this. So I kind of gave up on the entrepreneurial stuff for a while I was doing the work in like Formula One and Le Mans, doing heat exchanger design after college.
okay.
Um, but eventually that job, like that was a dream job at the beginning because we were traveling and we were visiting like all these different like F1 facilities and LMP facilities. Like we were doing road trips in Europe. It was
Wow.
like, yeah, like it was like dream job level kind of thing. But then towards the end of it, it started to switch more to defense and aerospace and like power gen. So it was like, gas turbine companies, companies that make tanks, companies that make like drones and stuff like that. And it really wasn't as interesting to me anymore. And it wasn't like aligning with the things that I cared about anymore
Gotcha.
because it got out of racing and like, I don't really want to be responsible for designing like tank parts and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what that's going to be used for.
Definitely.
Maybe it'll save some lives and maybe it'll do some good, but maybe it won't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just didn't feel right to me. And I was starting to work with stuff that was like big. When you're working in racing, like everything's small and light. You're never going to get hurt. Like, you might design an oil cooler that's the size of this thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's not going to hurt. But we were starting to work on projects that were like multi-thousand-pound heat exchangers. I almost got one of my fingers like chopped off.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
like I didn't have to go to the hospital. It was just a very close call where I almost lost the tip of my finger on a project. And that's when I was like, you know what? I want to get back into car parts. Let's do car parts again.
Yeah.
And that was like the time where I was like, okay, let's make some car parts. Let's start a business.
So you started the business in 2016? Because I went back and it was your first post was February 2016.
That's probably about right. So that wasn't when I went like full time. Like I never made the decision like I'm gonna go full time.
Gotcha.
Boom, I start a business. You know how it goes. Like you were working at Best Buy, right?
Yes, yes.
And how long did you work on Downstar before you quit?
From 2009 to 2012.
Yeah, dude. And I bet you were exhausted AF at the end of that.
Yeah, I should have did it in 2011, but
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I should have done it sooner too, dude.
yeah.
Have you ever met a business owner that said I should have waited longer to quit?
No, not
I
a
don't think I met
successful
one
one.
But yeah, so we started. That sounds about right, like 2016. But it was a side hustle for like 3 years before I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can quit. I'm gonna be able to pay my mortgage.
Got you.
Let's do it. I'm rolling the dice. And so, I started working on it when I kind of like saw the direction of that company changing and not aligning with what I like to do anymore.
Got you.
But I had to stick it out for a pretty long time before it got to the point where I was, comfortable with quitting.
Got you. Okay, so before we get to the business and how all that started and everything, was the guitars your first time in buying and selling and starting a business?
Um, I mean, if you want to go way back, I was trying to sell customized grip tape in high school
Yes,
for
that's where I
skateboard.
want to go to. Yes. So how did
Yeah,
that work?
yeah. So like I stopped skateboarding in high school. I know you still skate, but I knocked out my front teeth.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
yeah, the two front teeth, those are fake. I mean,
Oh.
they're in there. They're
Yeah.
they're crowns and root canals. But yeah, dude, I hit like a rock or something, and I
Uh-huh.
wasn't expecting it, and I went just face into the concrete. It knocked my teeth out.
Oh.
Dude, there was like my face was just got smashed, blood everywhere. I'm pretty sure I swallowed the teeth.
Oh, damn. Were you just
Yeah, so
pushing
that's
or
what I
what?
was. What?
You were just skating?
Yeah, I sucked though, dude. I sucked.
Got you.
There was nowhere good to skate by me. It's not like you guys where like you've got the city or you've got some parks and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
In southern Louisiana, they do not care about skaters. It was only recently that they started. So like I think in Baton Rouge we have like one fairly legit concrete skate park
Got
and maybe like two that are like concrete with wood
you.
ramps.
Got you, got you, got you.
But like where I lived, it was just like shitty concrete that was covered in gravel and stuff. So that was set up for failure. But yeah, like so I've always been like artistic before I was an engineer. I would say like if I have a talent, it's probably like um just I don't want to say thinking outside the box. That sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
But just trying to be creative
I got
and
what you
like being
mean.
artistic. And then I've always had to like back up the artist side with like a technical side. So like I would say like if I'm a good engineer, it's only because I have to be to see my ideas through.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I mean? But so yeah, I was like trying to like cut up grip tape and sell people grip tape. That was a failure, huge failure. Uh, and then sometime in high school, like my family didn't have very much money. I wanted to own like, are you a guitar guy or a bass guy at all?
No, I mean, I respect it and I would love to know
Yeah.
how, but
So,
I
but
never.
you've like heard the name, so you know what Gibson is,
Yes.
right? So I really, in Southern Louisiana, jazz band is really big, because like in New Orleans, like you got jazz at all the bars at
Got you.
nighttime. You got jazz for all the parades, whether it's Mardi Gras or whatever. I mean, they even have jazz funerals.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what I mean? Like it's in the culture, and so it's a cool thing. Um, and so like when you're in high school, you kind of want to get into that. You still play like alternative music or whatever is the modern music is, but getting into the jazz band is kind of like a cool way to like refine your skill. But so I was in jazz band. Family didn't really have much money, and I really wanted like a nice Les Paul, which is a guitar made
Yeah.
by Gibson. And the one I wanted was like $2,000. I didn't have a good like side job. I was making maybe like $7 an hour. And if you have a girlfriend, like boom, all that money is gone.
Yeah.
You're going out for a few dates and you are
It's
spent.
done.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna build a guitar. And my dad, he'd always like built cabinets and stuff in our garage. So I was like, we got most of the tools. So I kind of winged it and I wound up with something decent on the first try.
Wow.
And so I just kind of kept going with it. And then when I got to college, I was like, people are hitting me up trying to buy these, so maybe I'll make a website. So I made a little website. And that was back when making a website really sucked. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have to learn HTML, but I was like, dude, I think I used GoDaddy.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, like a GoDaddy website builder back
Yeah.
in like 2006, dude. That was rough, man. It's not like Shopify now. But
Yeah.
that's one thing everybody needs to hear. Making a website is easy as fuck now. Like,
Yeah.
do not use making a website or a shopping cart as an excuse to not start a business.
Yeah.
Shit's easy, easy. Uh, but you know, I made a little website and I was building guitars, and that was really the first time that I got somebody to give me what I would consider like a chunk of change.
Got you.
I think the cheapest guitar I sold was like 2 grand.
Got you.
And it was for a baby. It was for like a 4-year-old. It
Oh
was tiny. It
wow.
was like that long. Yeah, this kid had a pimping guitar, man. But yeah, I would say that was the first time that I was like, oh, I'm doing something and it's kind of working. And I would say it was probably at that point where I was like, okay, it's hard, but it'll go somewhere.
Got you.
The time I'd say that was the time where I started like believing, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, I feel like there's always that point in entrepreneurs' life where they, because most entrepreneurs have buy things, sell it for profit, and they'll make money. But when you get to the point and you start realizing like, wow, I can actually make this a business because the more guitars I make, the more I sell, the more customers, and you keep feeding that machine and it keeps growing. But then you
Yep.
run into issues like you said, the customer base, it's taking too much labor time. So then you got to like fine tune it into the business that you want it to be. But
You
when
got to
you
stop doing stuff that you don't really care for.
exactly. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors and we'll be back in 1 minute. Hilto Automotive has been a supporter of Downtime with Downstar for quite some time now, and we know that they're in your corner, that they got your back, whether you're under a car or you just need some help. No matter your race, creed, engine platform preference, that motto stands true. Accord, Civic, S2000, any Honda, any customer, anywhere in the world with equal respectful treatment for all. We at Downtime with Downstar share these values, and as a special gift to Downtime listeners, they are giving you guys a special deal. Using the Let's Deal function at the top of HeelToeAuto.com, you'll find an option to request a special quote. Submit a special quote using the key phrase, "I'm down with Downstar." Once again, the key phrase is "I'm down with Downstar" for a special deal on whatever you're shopping for. And of course, if you need any help, Marcus from Heel Toe is available by call, text, email to help out. Heel Toe wishes you guys a happy, healthy, and safe 2020. So I know a lot of you guys are questioning, what is this whole cult thing that's going on? Well, we at Downstar are starting our own cult. What is it? Are you going to have to drink punch? Are we going to sleep with your wives? No, none of that yet. But what it is a direct number to us, meaning me, Frank Downstar. I'm the one that's answering the text. So please, right now, text us, 818-403-3473. You're just going to have to follow a couple simple steps, get added to your contacts, and text us. Let us know what you're thinking of the episode so far. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, anything, even want to talk about life, man, just shoot us a text. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to have some fun, man. And that's what the cult's about. So come join the cult. 818-403-3473. No charges. We're not going to be selling your info. No bullshit like that, guys. Just straight up fun. So make sure you guys shoot us a text right now. 818-403-3473. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Have a good day.
Or at least that doesn't make money. You're always gonna have to do shit you don't care for. But I mean, let's be honest, like Downstars, it's a job for you. You like it,
Yeah.
but it feels like a job, right? It doesn't feel like vacation.
No, definitely. I mean, when I
Yeah.
come to work, I don't feel like upset to come. I wake up in the morning, it's like,
No,
okay,
it's
let's
like
go and do this.
I feel so grateful.
Yeah.
I could have a warehouse job. Around here, like everybody works in chemical refineries. Like if they have my degree, an
Gotcha.
engineering degree, you wind up in chemical refineries. And dude, I can't tell you how many people that I've known that worked at chemical refineries that got cancer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, shit, dude. Even like my fiance's family, most of the people that live in her family, in her immediate family, live near a refinery, like 2 miles away. They've all had like thyroid issues or cancer or whatever.
Oh, my
So
God.
like I saw that, I realized that kind of in college, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I need to
Yeah.
work on cars.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to do. I'm like, fuck it. I don't care if I'm not gonna make as much money. I'm not gonna work in this place. I'm not gonna get cancer, or not that way at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I get cancer, it's gonna be from something
Or
fun.
McDonald's or
Uh,
something.
but yeah, that was the time where I was like, I got to figure something out.
Got you. Now, when you were into making the guitars into music, was it just jazz or what else were you into?
No, no, man. I was in a band and we mostly played like different kinds of rock.
Okay.
Like mostly like alt rock, nothing like crazy. To be honest, I'm not even a very good guitarist. Never
Got
was.
you.
Uh, I was a hell of a lot better at building guitars than I was at playing them.
Yeah, got you.
Um, but yeah, like I really got into building guitars for like different styles of music, things like that. It definitely wasn't mostly about jazz. I would say most of the guitars I was building were for people that played like alternative rock kind of music.
Got you.
Like,
Like some kind of what are you listening to now? Not just
oh,
rock,
dude,
anything, just
I honestly mostly listen to rap and R&B now.
got you, got you.
I really don't listen to much rock and roll just because I guess when I like got a respect for like rock and roll when I was younger, I respected the creativity and the technical aspects of it. Like, you had like bands in the 70s and like back then the stuff they were doing was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And like those dudes, they were like what you talk about, where you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
And like I feel like now that whole genre is kind of gone. I don't want to say it's cookie cutter. You got some people that are outliers, but there's not a lot of talent in the industry right now,
Yeah.
I'd say, and not a lot of people like pushing the limits as much. And so I think I lost interest in it because of that. I just didn't. I like to see people like trying to be better than they were yesterday.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And like trying to do something new. So like when there's an artist that like is making new album, like changing up their style on new albums and stuff like that, I really respect it. You're gonna make fun of me, but I respect the hell out of Lil Wayne.
Little
I know
Wayne?
that
I
sounds
love Little
Lil Wayne.
Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Well, like okay, so keep in mind, I've always lived within about an hour of New Orleans since I was in like junior high.
Yeah.
And back then, dude, Cash Money was popping.
Hell yeah.
You remember with all the diamonds and
Yeah.
shit
Hell
on,
yeah.
on album covers and stuff. And Lil Wayne wasn't shit back then.
Yeah.
I've kind of like watched him like mature and like try to do things on different albums, and some of it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Uh, but it doesn't stop him from trying something new or trying a new style or whatever. And so like I respect artists that don't try and do the same thing over and over. I mean, there's definitely things about him to not respect, for sure.
Yeah.
But I respect people that push it and they're like, let's do it different. Let's keep it going. Because I mean, you can't stay in the view of the public doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, definitely.
Forever. Like no one's ever done it. It doesn't matter what industry you pick. Like it can be like racing, like at the top tier, Formula One, or it can be like lower down guys like you and I who are providing stuff to the street, you
Yeah.
know, enthusiasts or the weekend warriors. Like you pick an industry, pick an art, whatever. You can't stagnate.
Yeah, and definitely got to keep it interesting, man. I'm a huge music fan. From everything, rock, like you're saying. I used to go to Warp Tour for probably like 10, 12
Fuck
years.
yeah.
Every
Yeah.
summer, I would be out there. I would be in the mosh pits, and if you were to ask me right now, would I rather go to a rap concert or a rock concert? I'd definitely go to a rock concert. Just the energy there is unmatchable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say for live music as much.
Oh,
I would
really?
agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not really as interested in like rap and R&B for the live
Yeah.
music. But also like around here, like if you go to New Orleans and like you go for a night out in New Orleans, you're either gonna wind up on Bourbon Street, which really isn't like if you want to see what New Orleans is like, it's not Bourbon Street.
Mm,
If you go to Bourbon Street, you're gonna hear like oldies and shit.
yeah. Gotcha.
Like 80s rock. You're gonna hear like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The spot to go is really it's called Frenchman Street,
Hmm.
and it's a few blocks over. If you don't know New Orleans, don't walk from Bourbon to Frenchman. Catch a Uber.
Is dangerous or what?
The few streets between Bourbon and Frenchman are not well lit and they're very windy. And there's a lot of spots for people to like sneak up on you.
Got you,
If you
okay.
don't, if don't keep your head on a swivel.
Got you.
So
Got you.
like if I take that walk at nighttime, like I'm looking out. I'm not just walking like a drunk idiot there. But
Got you.
it's gotten worse recently. The violence in New Orleans, I would say. Like I'll still go out there, but I'm mindful.
Yeah, definitely. It's a weird
Like
time that we're in, man. It seems
what's
like
that?
it's
Yeah,
a weird
yeah, maybe.
time.
I don't know. Or maybe I was just I mean, I probably was just an idiot in college when I'd like wake up in a hotel room and be like, how did I get in this hotel room?
That's what college is for, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you can survive that.
Nice. So, where does your love for the automotive community come from?
So so like first off, I wasn't raised around cars at all. My dad wasn't really a car guy. My dad was the kind of guy that was like, hey, the house needs a new roof, so I know what you're doing for the next month.
Got you.
Uh, you know what I mean? So like I don't even work on my house anymore. I had to do that so much when I was younger that like whenever the house needs something done, I'm like, no, I'm not fucking doing
Yeah.
that. You know how you say you have like money for tickets and stuff? My like money for what I don't want to deal with is like shit on my house.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'll paint.
Yeah.
I'll paint. But so in high school I had this POS automatic 300ZX.
Okay.
It was an 86.
Okay.
I thought the T-tops were legit as fuck.
Nice. Yeah.
I love taking the T-tops off that thing, but that thing never ran right, man. We couldn't it had some kind of electrical gremlin on it, and we could never figure it out, but it would just randomly not rev above 2,000 RPMs.
Oh shit.
And so you like be going to get on the interstate, and then you step on the gas, and it hits a rev limiter at 2,
Yeah.
and you're like, shit, this is bad. And you get up on the interstate and you're doing like 30 and you're like banging off this 2,000 RPM rev limit. Idiot. Or like, dude, it was a clown car, man. I shaved the door handles on it. I
Yeah.
had door pop.
Nice.
And I remember the battery would go out occasionally and I'd have to crawl in through the hatch.
Yeah.
So the hatch was the only thing with a key.
Yeah.
So, it'd be like like my girlfriend would be like, or like if I was interested in a girl, like, oh, you want to ride home after school? Yeah, let me ride home in your sports car. Dope.
Yeah.
And then you get out to the car and you press the button, you're like, fuck, the door doesn't open. Let me just pop the trunk real quick and climb in like an ass.
Door
So that's what
poppers
I
were
had
the
in
shit,
high
dude.
school. What?
Door poppers were the shit back
They
then.
were the shit, man. And I did a pretty good job on it, except for like the wiring.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I had that, and that was no good for college. So I traded that in for a Buick Park Avenue Ultra.
Oh
I
shit.
got a really good deal on a Buick Park Avenue Ultra. They're like a land yacht. The
Yeah.
4 doors, leather interior, back seat has friggin' flip down visors,
Oh,
with,
sick.
lit mirrors and stuff. Dude, the back seat was like a couch, man,
Yeah.
like a leather couch. It had a V6 with a supercharger,
Oh shit.
but it was still no, it was still slow as hell, dude. It needed every ounce of that power just to move, dude. This thing was heavy. I got T-boned once, and the car slid sideways and didn't get dented.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, they
shit.
hit it like right in front of the back, the rear left tire, and
Yeah.
the car slid like 6 inches. And I got out, and just a piece of trim was like bent. And I looked at it, and I was like, "It's fine. I don't care. We're good."
Wow.
So I had that for a while, but so college is really when it happened. In college, for me, it's really honestly, it wasn't until like my job right before Acuity where I had like money where I would even think about putting it on a car. I had a BMW build I can tell you about that was like an OEM plus build,
Gotcha.
just because I needed to keep it hella cheap. But so like the catalyst for me and I would recommend like anybody that's going to college right now, if your university has this opportunity, just and you want to get involved with cars, just do it. Just go do it. Have you ever heard of Formula SAE?
No.
So Formula SAE, you've heard of Society of Automotive Engineers, SAE, right?
Yeah. I've heard
Like,
of
you've probably
the
seen car
acronym.
parts. Like, what's that?
I've heard of the acronym before.
Yeah, so SAE is Society of Automotive Engineers, and they're the like they're one of the governing bodies that kind of like determines standards for how cars are made.
Gotcha.
Like recently we just dropped these really nice quick disconnect fittings. Do you know what the firewall fuel line connection looks like on like any K series car made since like 2000?
Yeah.
How it's like that clip-on connector?
Yes.
So that connector is actually really hard to find in all metal. It's really easy to find in plastic, but nobody makes a really good one in all metal. A few companies make one that's got this like metal nut that you have to turn to hold it. But like if you try and put it on like an eighth gen Civic, like you know how an eighth gen SI has like the engine almost like under the dashboard. It's so far in there.
Okay.
So, like, dude, it's so hard to get back there and tighten that nut, and the OEM connections just like clip on. So we just needed we wanted to make a center feed fuel line for the K series fuel rails we released, and I was like, I am not using these like standard aftermarket fittings with the little nut. I hate those fittings. So I was like, we're just going to design one from scratch. Well, when you design stuff from scratch, there's certain stuff that's like governed. Like you can find standards on it. Like sometimes you might have to pay for the standard. It might be $100, $200 for like a PDF with 10 pages, which seems like a lot. But the standards are made by like people who like tested stuff and know what they're doing. So you pay like $100 or $200, but you're really paying for like the secret sauce,
Got you.
not a 10-page PDF. And so like we went to go make that fitting, and I knew SAE has standards on these fittings for different aspects of it that I needed to design. So I wouldn't have to design the whole thing from scratch, just parts of it, and I
Gotcha.
could use the things that they know that work. So that's kind of like what SAE does. Like they figure out like different standards for like testing things in cold weather, testing things in hot weather, testing things in like dry climates, wet climates, where it's really sandy, whatever. And they figure out how to test all this stuff, make sure it's going to work. They're like, okay, when you design it, this is how you're going to test it. If it passes all these tests, you should be good. So that's what that governing body does. Formula SAE, or they call it Formula Student, I think now. It's basically like it's this group that holds this competition for college teams, and you build your own race car from scratch. You take a 600, dude, it's dope. It's dope. You take a 600cc motorcycle engine. So like a really popular one is like a Honda CBR 600 motor.
Okay.
But people use a Yamaha motor, Kawasaki, whatever, anything that's 600 cc's you can use. Mostly four cylinders. Some people use like a two-cylinder, or if they're clowns like we were when I was in college. This wasn't my idea. We used a one-cylinder motor. That was stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that shit. I tried to convince them. I wasn't a senior. I was always an underclassman when I was in it, and so the seniors were like, "No, we know better." It's like, motherfucker, you need a four-cylinder.
Yeah.
So I got involved with that, and basically what you do is you take a motorcycle engine and you build an open wheel race car from scratch. So you build the frame, you build the suspension, you build the steering, and then you drop in the motor. You design like basically everything to connect the motor to the wheels. You're designing uprights for the spindles themselves, like whatever you want, you design.
Wow.
And the competition, they have a few of them. The big one that we would go to was in Michigan, normally at the Ford Proving Ground, so where Ford in Detroit does all of their testing. That's where we'd go, and they'd hold this big competition. And I think it was like 150 teams would go out, and you'd have schools come from like Germany, Australia, Italy, all over the place, dude. You were with like the car enthusiasts in college from around the whole damn world. And that was a good eye opener to me to know that like when I got into this industry, I was gonna have to hustle.
Got you.
Like nobody's gonna give it to you, dude, because everybody there wanted the jobs that we wanted. You know what I mean? To go work at these companies and do these cool things. But it's a really, really cool competition because you design some stuff, you go out, the students drive the cars. Now you'll have a team with like 20 or 30 people, and like two or three people will drive. So don't join the team assuming that you're going to get to drive the car. But you'll design stuff, you'll put it on the car, you'll test it, you'll bring it to the competition, your car will break, it'll be crushing, you'll do it again next year, it'll be a little better. We had 1 year. So you do all different kinds of competitions. Like they have a figure eight skid pad where whoever can pull the highest lateral G, so like sideways G in a turn, wins that. They have an acceleration competition. So whoever's got the fastest acceleration over a certain span of time, they win that. They have an autocross, which is like, a traditional autocross with cones and everything.
Yeah.
Fastest times win that. And then they have an endurance event, which as like a grown ass man, I wouldn't call it an endurance event anymore. It's a sprint event,
Yeah.
but it was only like 30 minutes or an hour. And dude, you'd be surprised. None of those friggin' cars would last for 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Um, I think we had 1 year out of three that I did it where we finished. We had 1 year where the chain came off and we lost. We had another where they decided to put a spool in the back
Uh-huh.
on a road race car. So it didn't have a differential in the rear. It was just a spool. So both rear tires always turned at the same RPM. And like, I don't know if you've driven a rear wheel drive car with a spool,
No.
but there's a reason that spools are really popular in drifting. And it's not because it turns well.
Yeah.
It's because it's really easy to light up the tires because they're spinning at the same speed when you go through the turn. So we had this car that wouldn't turn, and you basically had to light up the tires to make it turn.
Oh shit.
And I got pulled over because they were like, "You're exhibition driving,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "This bitch doesn't turn.
Yeah.
You've got to light them up through the turn
Yeah.
and slide it." And the car was really loud, so they pressed the kill switch, and it wouldn't start afterwards. So we
Ah.
got DQ'd.
No shit.
Um, Dude, to this day, people that were on the team, not everybody, but there's a few like negative Nancy's. They're like, "You ruined it. You ruined it." I'm like, I can't drive a car that doesn't start.
Oh damn. So was the body like a tube chassis or what?
Yeah, so it was a full chromoly space frame. I think it's like 1 inch OD tubing everywhere.
Got you.
And then actually the thing that I did, like my job on the team was composites. So I would design like the nose cone, the side pods that took the air in. I would design like the floor pans, the seat, which was also the firewall. So it was like this form-fitting seat that also was the heat shield against the engine because the engine was right in back of you. It was crazy, dude. Those cars were nasty, man.
Wow.
So have you ever ridden like a 600cc bike?
No. I don't think so.
So I don't ride motorcycles really, because I think I'd die.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. I don't think I'm good enough to ride a motorcycle
Yeah.
and survive. So it's a 600cc motorcycle engine, and the cars weigh maybe like 450 pounds with a driver.
Okay.
Maybe five if you've got a heavy car. They're not way heavier than the bikes the motors came from, so they're pretty quick. Except they're geared down for a top speed of like 70 instead of like, I don't know what a CBR 600 bike goes to, but it's probably well over 100.
Yeah.
So you gear it down, and all of a sudden it's way fucking faster. Like, you ever drive a car that had the wrong final drive, so just like rips through first, second, and third?
Yeah, like an old muscle car.
Or like I did an engine swap once on a BMW where I did a manual transmission swap on an auto chassis, and I hadn't changed out the diff yet, so it still had an auto diff.
Gotcha.
The gearing was way different, and it was only like a 250 horsepower motor, but I could light up the tires through third gear because it was geared wrong.
Yeah.
But then it would be at like 7,000 RPMs or 6,000 RPMs doing like 60 on the
Yeah,
interstate.
yeah, yeah.
So these cars would just friggin' rip, dude, and everything on them is hard mounted. So like the seat, no rubber between it and the chassis. The suspension, all spherical bearings.
Yeah.
The engine bolted right to the fucking chassis.
Oh shit.
So like, dude, like basically the car we had, when I drove it, I couldn't let it idle because it vibrated so hard from all the hard mounted stuff that I couldn't breathe. It would make me start like coughing. You ever get like a tickle in your throat and you start coughing, you can't breathe?
Yeah.
It like the harmonic of it, I don't know if it made my windpipe vibrate or something,
Yeah.
but I couldn't fucking breathe. So I would sit there in the pits and I'd like rev the motor a little bit so I could take a breath. Dude, like it is it is the most hard. Like when you take out of the equation the fact that the top speed is kind of low,
Yeah.
and you're just looking at like acceleration and just like how it's built, it's like one of the most hardcore race cars you'll ever drive if you're involved in it.
Got
So,
you.
and I learned a lot. I mean, one of the problems with it is that there's not a lot of people in it that know what they're doing since everybody's a college kid. And
Hmm.
even if you've been doing it for 3 years, like you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You kind of do, but you know what it is. Like until you've done it forever and you've, cried, sweat, and bled
Yeah.
it, like don't really know. So like one one downside of it is you've got all these dudes that are like weighing their ego that'll tell you, oh, you're doing it wrong, you don't know what you're doing, whatever. Like just like if you do it, just fuck those dudes. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Uh so like you don't get experience hanging around like people that really know what they're doing. But like you're gonna go in a machine shop and you're gonna turn on a mill or a lathe and you're gonna use it. You're gonna get in CAD software and you're gonna CAD stuff up. You're gonna actually make the stuff. You're gonna go out. You're gonna break it. You're gonna see what it's like to be at an event with 150 people that are or 150 teams that all want to eat your damn lunch.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it puts you through the ringer and you learn a lot. And to be honest, college took me 6 years instead of four because I spent so much time on that team failing classes.
Mm.
Like I would be in the machine shop like work until midnight, 2 in the morning, just hopped up on Red Bull, even though I have a class at 7 the next morning,
Yeah.
because like I was about that stuff, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I failed enough classes where my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to be an engineer? Maybe you're not so good at this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm having a great time. You don't know what I'm talking about." And like like looking back on it, like I don't. I mean, look where I am. Like I have an awesome job. I get to run this place, and
Yeah.
we make really cool parts. People get really hyped when they get the parts. They're happy to drive it. Like I just feel awesome working here. It's tiring, but like I couldn't think of another job that would be more rewarding right now.
I love it, man.
So like I failed a bunch of stuff. I had the lowest GPA in my group of engineers. Literally, I couldn't have a lower GPA without like and graduate. It
Yeah.
was so like my overall GPA, if you mix in like art and like other like math classes and stuff, that was okay. But like my engineering GPA was like 2.00.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, it was legit bad, dude. And it wasn't because I didn't have like an appreciation for what I was doing or that I wasn't capable. It was just that like going and sitting in a chair in a class with a professor that's almost never made anything in their whole life, like that didn't get me hyped. Like I came from building guitars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to get dust on my face and
Yeah.
like up my nostrils and like cuts and stuff. And I want
Yeah.
to go test stuff and break stuff and like blow shit up and figure out why it blew up and then make it better and make it blow up less or not at
Yeah.
all possible. Uh, and so like I just didn't feel it. But what was good about it and the reason I would tell people like if you want to make car parts, go like not car parts, but like if you want to get into racing, like if you want to go and ever like see what Ferrari looks like or anything like that, like you got to know how to do that science and the math behind it. Now, I mean, if you get into stuff like you're doing, you don't need as much of that. Like you're like a killer marketer, and
Thank you.
like
Thank
I
you.
would say like significantly better than me. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with marketing.
I try,
Like
man.
I kind of do. And so like you have that route, and that's super solid. But like the way you did it, I would honestly say that's probably like harder than the way that we did it. Like I know how much you had to grind,
Yeah.
and like you're there, but like, dude, you paid for it. You paid for it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's just
So
going to all of these events and things like that, just hitting the streets.
yeah, but I mean, like it's like what? Do you know what Import Alliance event it is that I'm thinking of that I saw you at where it was Nashville? Because we had talked about that before
Yeah.
we got
So
on here.
Nashville, my first ever summer Nashville was 2010. 2011 was the last time that it was in Nashville for summer.
So it was either 10 or 11.
Gotcha.
It was the year we did it. It was under bleachers. It was
Oh,
all the
okay.
booze.
Okay. Shit. I'm
That
trying
ring
to
a
think.
bell?
I'm trying to think. That was Nashville though.
I think it was.
Okay, it was probably the at the stadium, right?
Must have been.
I don't even fucking
Dude, my
remember.
memory is so fuzzy.
But anyways, yeah,
I'm not sure, but I remember seeing you grinding in that 10 by 10 booth, dude. I
yeah,
think, do you still have that backdrop with you in the kitchen whipping word?
yeah, yeah. So that was probably
I love
2011.
that shit. But yeah, I remember seeing you grinding back there, and I could tell, dude. I could tell you were putting in your time.
Thank you, bro.
So, but I guess what I was saying, going back to that, like, the path that I took, I feel like it's like a more like standard route.
Yeah,
Um, so and that wasn't by design. I never planned any of this.
yeah,
Like, you know, like sometimes you just go through life and like opportunities arise, things happen, and you just make the best of it. So I won't tell anybody that I like had this grand plan. Like,
yeah. I really
but
feel like the Downstar. It was one of those opportunities. I guess one thing that I can say that I'm good at is being able to see opportunities in what they can become from what it is. You know, whether
yeah,
it's a build or even selling some parts on the forums. You know, if I've been a hustler ever since I've been a kid. You know, so when I'm able to sell something and I make money from it, and then people want it more, it was just science to me, man. It's just okay. We'll just keep feeding it and keep
yeah,
growing, and that's what I do to this day.
yeah. You saw the niche and you got in there and you owned it.
Yeah, hell yeah. But there's so many ways to make it in this industry. But one
Yeah.
thing that everybody has in common is that you just have to put in the work.
Yeah. So I would say like if anybody wanted to go down the route that I took and they wanted to actually like design their own future, whereas,
Yeah,
you know, I kind of just did things that I thought were cool until it turned into this.
yeah,
Um, I would say like, you know, if you want to take this path, if you want to make like a company that makes like more technical products, I would say, um, like, you know, get the skill set. Get your skill set together. I don't want to tell you you have to go to college. Like, you could totally start this company without going to college,
hmm,
but you're gonna have to buy those textbooks. You're still gonna have to read those textbooks. You're gonna have to know what's in those textbooks. But the other thing I would say is like, and this is my personal experience, and everybody's different, but I'm really grateful for all the jobs that I had in this industry before I started this company. Not necessarily um, like automotive aftermarket, but like just like gaining the experience as an engineer and a designer and seeing it through different people's eyes. Like I feel like I've worked with a lot of people that I would say are like categorically smarter than me.
got you.
And like when you're around those people, you're just like your eyes open. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? You're like, wow, these people think different and they
yeah,
do things different. And you're like, I think I could do it this way. And you start to emulate their good behaviors and try to not do their bad behaviors and
hmm,
things like that. And slowly it turns into your own thing, you know, because you're like, I don't want to do it exactly the way that they did it. And yeah, you just slowly build it into your own formula.
yeah. I love
But
it.
I feel like you got to do that. You got to put in that time, like learning like how to make decisions.
Yeah.
Did you go through that process? Do you feel like at a certain stage in Downstar? I feel like for you it probably happened at Downstar. Is that like a fair assumption?
You know, I did a lot of just learning along the way. I knew that I was good at selling things,
Yeah.
and I just had to hone in on all my other skills, you know, such as marketing, figuring out where to get things made, how much quantity to buy, how much profit to spend on personal things versus back into the business. So I really didn't have any traditional business like studies besides working at Best Buy. You know,
Yeah.
I take
But
the
I
time.
think there's value to that too because like what you've created personally like with your Downstar brand is very unique.
Thank you.
Whereas with Acuity, I like to think that our products are very unique in the way that we make products, like the way that we think about how we make products and all that. I think that that's very unique in the industry. But I think that the way that we brand and we market is very traditional.
Got you.
I wouldn't say that we have like these innovative marketing tactics or anything like that, but that's comfortable for us, you know, because it's just not my skill set.
Gotcha.
And we get people help with it, but really for me, it's about like doing what I enjoy,
So
and so that's
what's the image that you want to give off for the brand?
just mostly that we just care about what we do and who we do it with. In terms of like not only the product design itself,
Mm-hmm.
but like all of the work that goes into the products afterwards, you know, getting it to the customer, making sure that they're happy, making sure that it does what we say it's going to do for a long time, ideally indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, just taking care of the people around us that make this possible. Um, we've been really lucky to get some really solid employees. A lot of them have past motorsports experience too, like doing assembly in the racing world. And it's really cool to kind of like you look at Honda and you look at like the heritage, and you start to realize as you do something. I don't want to say similar because I'm not trying to compare that, but
Yeah.
when you do something that kind of like has parallels, you realize that they didn't go out and necessarily try and build an image. Their image built itself off of their values.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
like what we talked about with like respecting people and things like that. Like the big thing with Acuity is like if you follow us, you don't really see us hype up products that are coming. We don't talk like, oh, we're going to release this so much, release that. If people ask, you know, normally we'll say like, oh yeah, that's in the works. But I would say more often than not, we try to just keep it hush and we just launch it and we try not to hype it too much. I mean, you know, we do what everybody does. You'll give some to some influencers, give some to some race teams just to try and start the whole process of people talking about it. But it's like I tell all the influencers, I'm like, I don't want you to lie to anybody. I don't want you to tell
Yeah.
anybody something you don't believe. I'm like, if you get this and you think it's shit, just send it back.
Yeah.
Don't do anything with it. Don't make a video. It's yours. And then email me and tell me to stop making shit. Uh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to say anything is good if it's not good.
Yeah.
And same thing with like customer service and everything. Like, I don't want to tell you that our customer service is good. When you buy something, I'm just going to show you.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So, I would say that's kind of like the mentality with Acuity. Like, talk is cheap. Be nice to people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. I think here at Downstar, the thing that I want to do, what I want the brand to represent is like, endless possibilities and the, just showing the work that you put in, you can make anything happen. To turn nothing into something, and whether
Yeah.
that's in the automotive community or not in the automotive community, doing podcasting or whatever it is, anything that Downstar puts their brand on, I want it to be that it's just, we're going to show you what we're going to do, but we're going to show you the hustle that goes
Yeah.
into it, So even with all the marketing and the stuff that we do, I don't really even see it as like that big of a deal. It's turned into like second nature now. All of these things,
Yeah.
like we just started, I don't know if you see me posting about the cult that we started.
Yeah. It's all call.
Everybody listening, text us right now, 818-403-3473. And basically what that is a text app that we have. It's a separate phone number. You text that and we just get added to your contacts. And people are like, well, okay, well, what is this for? Well, now when you text, it comes to this phone and it'll pop up. That's what, wherever you see the value in that, that's on you. If you're working on your car and you installed some product and you want to send us a picture, cool, send it to us. If you have a question, text it. Or if we have things that we want to put out there, we want it to go to our customers that are more engaged than just
Yeah,
somebody that's
definitely.
following us.
Especially if it's like limited edition or something.
Exactly.
You want the core group.
The
to pick
core
it up.
group, exactly.
Don't care.
So we're building a core group, and when I do things like this, I think of it, yeah, this is great for marketing, but another way that I think about it is I'm making a community, and this community is a supporter of Downstar. So if I have an idea and like, hey guys, I'm thinking about this idea, only the cult knows about this, keep it hush, but I need your actual feedback. What do you think?
Yeah.
And we're going to come out with
Yeah.
whatever the
Tell me
hell
a
it is.
real answer. Don't just say, oh, that's fire.
Exactly. So you build that trust and that relationship with those people. Then whenever I need them to go to action, they will. And whenever they need something from me, they can hit us up whenever, and it's actually me answering it. And
have you liked that and how the whole thing's been going?
oh, dude, I love it, man. It's so cool. I've been able to. I can actually. I used it today, right? So my guy who works here, his name's Alex. He actually throws a meet every Thursday. So I just
he's the like tall lanky dude who wears all the shirts in your pictures.
Exactly. Yeah. Handsome dude,
What's
man.
up, Alex?
So shout out to Alex. He throws a meet every Thursday. So I just took the flyer and I sent it out to people in a 25-mile radius, which turned out to be like 45 people. And I said, hey guys, come out to this meet if you want.
Here, hold on, you're breaking up a minute.
Good?
It's cutting in and out a little. Can you talk real quick?
Yeah. So on my end,
it seems good. It's my video quality is down a little. Can you hear me fine?
On my end, you're rocking.
Okay, yeah, let's keep it going.
So
do you mind if I grab a bottle of water real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Give me 1 sec. Let me see. 127. 1 sec, brother.
Oh, take your time, dude.
How's it looking now?
It's still a little grainy, but I mean, if you're getting the video feed like
You're
you need it, then we're good.
Yeah, you're
I
clear.
can hear you fine.
You're clear on my side. Okay, let's jump back into it. All right.
When are we doing the follow-up smoke session version of this?
When you come down to California for IBOC. Hell yeah.
All right, let's do it at IBOC, dude.
I'm down. All right, let's jump back into it. So I have the text app. I sent out the flyer for Alex's meet, and I'm able to pick on location. So you can just open up the bubble, and then it says 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles. So when I go to an event across the country, I'm just thinking like, hey guys, I'm going to be in Maryland, and we're going to go to dinner tonight. If you guys want to meet up, we're going to be at this restaurant, and send it out to whoever's out there, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's cool, man. But those are the things that we do for marketing, which, you know, others might see it as like a big kind of deal. Like I've had people already say like, why would you even want customers to be texting you? I said, well, because I don't look at it the way that you look at it. You look at it as a burden. I look at it as our customers are the only reason why we have any of this shit. So the more I can cater to them, the better I can build a relationship with them. That means the longer this is going to go for.
There's too many people in this industry that tell everybody they're doing stuff wrong.
Yeah.
And those are the ones doing the least.
Definitely, man. We rarely get that nowadays. And I got that the other day, and I was kind of surprised that person would tell me that. But that just means that I'm not showing enough on my end for them to think that they should be giving me any advice. Like,
yeah,
okay,
man,
I'm
I'm
doing
so
good.
Used to it now.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it. I we got a message today, I think, through so we use like Zendesk to aggregate all of the messages that come in. So like Facebook, emails, and Instagram all go to this
Gotcha.
one place. I was looking at a sport ticket today, and somebody just randomly made a comment on the website, and it was like about a shifter we made, and they were like, "Yo, this shit's ugly as fuck. Haters gonna hate." And I'm like, I
Okay.
was like, well, first of all, we're selling so many of those things that we can't keep them on the shelf, so I'm
Yeah.
not sweating. But I'm like, who took a moment out of their life to put this on the internet? Like, you need to go do something productive.
Oh, definitely, man. And I've met so many of those people in person. I've had people come up to me at events and be like, "Hey, man, we had a convo online, and I just wanted to apologize." And I'm like, "I don't even know who you are, dude, but whatever."
Yeah, who are you, dude?
Yeah, it just it they just like to talk, and I really this is how I honestly feel. People are very lonely, and they don't have anybody giving them attention, and so they're just out, and it's basically like a tantrum. They're throwing a
Yeah.
tantrum on everybody's page. Your shit looks like this. It looks like this. It looks like this. And then I feel like telling them, "Hey, what's up, bro? Like, how's your day going? Are you all right?" Because you're not all right. If you were all right, you
No,
wouldn't be
no.
doing this. So what's wrong?
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
that's I look at it more of like a psychological way, other than
I
they're
agree,
attacking
dude.
me.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we're all living in the same time. Like, when you spend so much time on Instagram and stuff like that, it really warps your reality.
It does.
And it really gets you down in the dumps if you let it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally see that. You see trolls online, and you're just like, we got to find you something to be happy about.
Yeah, definitely, man. So 2016, you decide about there is when you started business. When did you take it on full time?
About 2.5 years ago, so beginning of 2018.
Okay, cool. So about 2 years before you went full time, what did you notice in that 2 years of business that surprised you, or made you realize that this was something that you wanted to go towards, like the good and the
Well, so
bad?
the first surprise was that I thought that I was going to run a business based on RSX TPS sensors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's not a thing.
Got you.
Not enough demand.
Yeah.
So that the first surprise was that, gosh, dude, I can't tell you how much money that I invested in that sensor.
Mm.
Dude, I put all of my money into it. I had like $0 in the bank.
Oh shit.
I saved up, want to say it was like $30,000 to get that TPS going.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I hadn't sold a single product with the logo on it, and I dumped 30 grand into it. The TPS that we sell, if you look at it, it looks very much like the OEM TPS, which OEM 2.0 is like a big thing here. Like, we try to our thing is we try to engineer stuff with the thoughtfulness that the OEM manufacturer would have used, but we try to design it so that it's for a higher level of performance and a lower level of like creature comfort.
Got you.
So like if
Yes.
you went to a Honda engineer making the Type R and you're like, look, scrap this Type R, let's make it raunchy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Got
that's
you.
kind of how we try to think of it. Like if we worked at Honda and they said, make a race car, these are the parts that we would make.
Got you.
But so that TPS, all of the housing on it is all injection molding, and the guts in it are injection molded, and it's got a custom circuit board in it, and these expensive proprietary chips on them. And we had to, get like molds made for the TPSs and
Mm-hmm.
buy hundreds of circuit boards and stuff, and build some equipment to test the TPSs and run them to tens of millions of cycles and make sure that they were going to last. Really do our due diligence on testing them. And so yeah, I was like 30,000 in, and we started selling the TPSs, and they were selling okay. But I think at the beginning we were doing maybe for the first year maybe like $3,000 a month in sales after we got it rolling with the TPS, and that's good.
Yeah.
But when you've got the material costs in there and everything, you're not quitting your job as an engineer designing race car parts.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then the first awakening was that I wasn't gonna build a company based off just sensors. Um, I'm trying to think of like what the second awakening is. I one thing I realized, so we rely pretty heavily on a distribution network, so like a core group of vendors, and we try not to let anybody sell our stuff. We try to only let people sell stuff if we think they're going to be good to customers and they treat customers right. So like if you come to me and you try to become a vendor, I'm going to dig up everything I can find on the internet on
Yeah,
you. Things you do in your personal life, things that you do in your business, how you treat your customers. I want to know who's this person I'm selling products to
definitely.
and how are they going to treat the people that get the products. Because I want, it's like we said, I want every part of that process between us making stuff and you getting it and using it to be positive. And if I've got bad apples in that vendor circle, that's no good.
Yeah,
So anyways, the one of the rude awakenings I have was that vendors don't really want to talk to you if you can't make them a bunch of money,
yeah.
right? Did you deal with that like early on trying to get people to sell your stuff?
I pretty much feel the same way that you do about vendors, but it's more of like, we'll call you, don't call us. I turn down way more vendors than we actually add for that reason, because I don't want to
Yep.
see our stuff end up on eBay or end up next to eBay product on their shelf or whatever, or the image that that brand gives off to me, just me being an enthusiast. I don't
Yep.
know if I want to even be part of that. So like we probably have maybe 10 to 15 vendors and that's it. I would rather
No,
have,
it's actually about the same.
yeah, I would
Right.
rather have no vendors and have everybody come through us. I mean, for one, there's no discount, which is awesome. But for two, like, I like building these relationships with these customers. And when we go to these events, I meet them, I check out their cars, we hang out, and I love to have that interaction. And
Yeah.
with somebody else in there, with another entity, you don't know, like you said, you don't know what happened when you went in there. Maybe somebody, I don't know how they're portraying our product. So
Yeah.
I'd rather
So
keep
for
it more
for
local.
us, I think the way that we structured it with our vendor circle, a lot of it was because we realized that we probably didn't have the manpower
Yeah.
to answer all the email questions from customers for the like full demand of our product line. So to me, having vendors is kind of like getting help, like tech guys, like
Definitely.
almost like hiring a commissioned uh, technical like sales representative. So that's the other thing that we look for. We're like when we're picking up a new vendor, like first of all, we try and make them do a buy-in so that they don't want to buy in,
Yeah,
because we want to make sure that they really, really want to be involved.
definitely.
So we try and get the buy-ins high enough so that it hurts, so that they have to like, because if you come to me and you want to do the buy-in and I look and everything's good and the buy-in's high and you're like, I want to do it, I'm like, they're committed.
Hmm.
It's not like they're going to buy like one product and then see how it goes.
Yeah,
They're actually going to put in effort. But I also want to look and see like, are these people going to be able to support our customers? So like, if you're out there selling parts for Hondas and Nissans and Toyotas and BMWs and stuff like that, like Jags or Summit or
yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah.
I know that you can't call them up and be like, yo, how do I calibrate a TPS for an RSX Type S?
Hmm.
They're gonna be like, you can read the fucking manual is what you
Yeah,
can do. I don't want that. I want a vendor that they're gonna call and they're gonna be like, let me get, Jimmy on the line. He's got an RSX Type S. He could help you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how I look at it. Just a way, like it's a way for us to like spread information without having all of those employees.
Got you. So after the TPS, you realized that you weren't going to be able to make a business with just sensors. What was the next product?
The next big product. So we realized after the TPS, like we put in so much time. I probably spent a year and a half designing the TPS
Yeah.
before we even like started. So like the you're saying 2016, which I think is about right. That's the year that's on our LLC,
Okay.
right? The form. But the truth is, I was pulling late nights doing design work and testing for probably at least a year and a half before that.
Got you.
And it wasn't until I was like, okay, I have a product, time to go to market, that I actually was like, let me get an LLC, let me get like a tax license, all that stuff, get an EIN, And for everybody out there that doesn't know what an EIN is, if you start a business, you need one.
Yeah.
It's basically your social security number for your business with the IRS.
Yeah. Don't
Give this
fuck with them.
man that. Don't fuck with them. Rather walk from Bourbon Street to Frenchman Street in the middle of the night than fuck with the IRS.
Holding your wallet and your
Better
phone in your
chance of
hands.
surviving.
Yeah.
So we realized that that wasn't enough. We need to do something else. And I was like, shit, I put so much on this TPS. I can't half-ass it. I got to come out with something like good, and somebody's got to, people have to see it and be like, all right. So I've got a decent amount of experience with like linkage design and what's called tribology, which is really like the study of wear and like how things wear out over time, like particularly bearings and things like that. And so we spent some time trying to figure out what are we going to design and what market is it going to be in that kind of like could coexist with the TPS. So Hondas, really, like that's what it had to be. Unless we were going to go off and design more sensors, but that's not my specialty.
Gotcha.
I put in a lot of work to make that sensor, but I'm not an electrical engineer, so that was a lot of work
I
to
bet.
get it, just right. So we wanted to play more to our strengths, and we realized that nobody was making a really nice aftermarket shifter for the 9th Gen SI.
Got you.
As random as that sounds. At the time, the SI was the current gen of Civic.
Okay.
And so that was out. Nobody was making a good shifter for it. I think Buddy Club made one. But Buddy Club shifters, it's normally like a slightly nicer plastic shifter. Good price, but if you're looking for like race car parts, maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
For the record, Buddy Club parts are fine. We just are really hardcore.
Talk your shit, bro. Talk your shit.
No, I don't want to talk shit because I honestly respect them for a lot of reasons. But it's just those aren't the parts we make.
Definitely, yeah.
We try to take it up a few notches, and the stuff's much more expensive than Buddy Clubs, but it does different things. So anyway, so we saw that nobody was really making like a really solid shifter for the 9th Gen market, and just based on my career experience, I know that like. I don't want to say I know the ins and outs of it, but I knew what to do. I was like, I know where to start. And so we bought a bunch of equipment to kind of quantify the shifters, like stress testing stuff, things like that, finding out how to break them, how much force does it take to break, how strong does ours need to be. And we were like, okay, let's come out with a pretty badass shifter for the 9th Gen Civic Si. Nobody's making one, so when we drop it, it's going to be the first, and people are going to talk about it. And it worked pretty well. Nobody got rich overnight. You see that shit so much on Instagram, dude. I don't know anybody that's done that. You know anybody that's done that? That's like off overnight?
No, hell no.
No, dude. Like just for everybody listening, everyone that pops off overnight's actually been working on it for 5 to 10 years, and you just didn't know.
Yeah, I get that every once in a while. I say, man, you guys blew up out of nowhere. I say, yeah, it only took 10 years, bro.
Yeah. So we released that, and it made decent buzz. Vendors started giving us the time of day. Some of them would talk to us. Still wasn't tons.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we're in the shifting market. Let's make more shifting parts. So we came out with some really nice cable bushings for like basically like every performance Honda since like 2000. And we came out with this cable bushing design that wear compensates. So as it gets older, it actually compensates for its own wear and takes up play. And it was just like a thoroughly engineered cable bushing. And we just started realizing like if you want to get big, you kind of have to go out and make waves.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Gotta go make some waves somewhere. You're gonna have to piss somebody off by doing something well.
Yeah.
Basically, right? You're gonna do something really well, and other people are gonna be like, "Hey, you can't do that," and you're like, "Well, I'm doing it." So, and it's pretty good. So, but like I would tell people, like, don't get scared that there's big dogs in an industry because you're gonna do it differently than them if you're really trying and you really care about it, and you're gonna find some angle that they haven't thought about, or you're going to try to do it better, or you're going to try and treat your customers better, whatever. Like, don't worry about exactly what it is. Just
Definitely.
go in and do it better. It's going to take you some time, right? But if you just focus on doing good, like in everything, it'll eventually work out, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. But so we realized we had to start making waves. We decided after that. So in my job that I had former to Acuity, I was doing a lot of cooling system design in, like I said, F1 and LMP, not working for the teams, but working for a company that consulted to the teams. So like I helped design intercoolers for Ferrari Formula One, the intercooler that goes on that car, radiators, oil coolers. I've designed radiators for Nissan LMP, Toyota LMP, which is Le Mans prototype
Gotcha.
cars. So these are the like closed cockpit cars that you see racing at Le Mans. Porsche LMP, Audi, some of the DTM race cars, which are like the GT teams in Europe. We did some work with some U.S. teams. We had worked with Haas F1. I didn't work on that project though. But have you seen the Cadillac ATS-V race cars in the USA?
No, I don't think so.
So they have a twin turbo V8. It's fucking nasty.
Wow.
I got to design the cool carbon shelled air to water intercoolers on those race cars, things like that. But the point is, I spent a lot of time around fluid flow, and like I learned, like, okay, this is what you do, this is what you don't do with air at these temperatures or pressures or water or refrigerant, whatever. And so we were like, okay, we're in the night gen market. We're people kind of know who we are in the night gen market. Let's cater to that right now. And since those people are watching us, so we said, okay, let's try and make a cold air intake that beats everybody's, not only in performance but in quality. And so like that was the only goal, making that intake that we sell. Like, let's go out and it's going to be the most badass intake you can buy, not only in looks but also in actual performance.
Gotcha.
And we designed it, and originally it was going to be aluminum. And I talked to my business partner, and I was just like, this is boring, dude. I don't want to make it anymore. It doesn't get me excited. I stopped designing parts when they don't get me excited anymore. I just push it off to the side next.
Yeah.
Until I cook up an idea, or I just let it die if I don't. So at some point I was like, okay, we figured out how to make it the most powerful, but it's not badass. So that's when we were like, carbon fiber.
There you go.
And so we made the main tube of it out of carbon fiber, and we really put a lot of effort into like really just focusing on making the details of that kit really nice. So like, I don't know if have you seen those tubes?
I'm not sure.
Can I run and grab one?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hold up.
All right, guys. Well, he's going to grab the carbon fiber intake right now. Like I was saying earlier, make sure you guys shoot a text over to the call 818-403-3473. It goes directly to my cell phone, and I'm the one answering. And we got a lot of products coming out. We actually have a product coming out pretty soon, but it's going to come out after this podcast comes out. So you already missed out. But anyways, what do we got, Russ?
What's up, dude? I don't have one that's bonded, but this is the carbon tube we came out with.
Wow.
And can you see the weave in the video well? So this is actually inspired from the racing that we did. This is a really broad weave with like really wide toe, they call it, which are the strands. And this is commonly what's used on like the monocoques for Formula One and like prototype race cars and stuff. Cool. So this was kind of like homage to that kind of like past career for us. It normally has bonded on aluminum stuff. This one's just been prepped to be bonded, but we have these nice aluminum bits that we bond on. And we were just like, let's just like really make it like top notch.
Wow, that looks great.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of it.
I like that.
But so, we kind of like got into this rhythm where we just realized like, let's just do stuff tops.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to do it, let's go all out and just, If it winds like if we accidentally design a $500 shifter, it's a $500 shifter. But we don't really focus on what we're going to sell it for when we're designing it. We're just like, let's just make it really nice, and then we'll sell it for whatever we need to run the business.
Got you.
We don't really try and like cut corners to make stuff cheaper to make or anything like that. So we kind of got in the habit of that with the intake, and we released it, and it was a slow start, and that's another lesson for everybody on this. Like, it's always going to be a slow start, almost always, until you're big, and you're, Kanye, and you can just pop off a big shoe like that.
Yeah.
So it started doing well, but it eventually became like the standard in that little market, the 9th Gen SI market, as the best intake that you can buy, not only in like quality and how it fit, but also in performance. And it was so much so that another big company out there actually stopped selling theirs because they just weren't selling that many of them anymore.
Oh shit!
Like a company that's much bigger than us.
Wow.
And when that happened, we were like, oh shit.
Awesome, man.
So that was kind of where I feel like that was the point where we were like, okay, like this is working, we can make nice stuff. And that like shortly after that is when they started hyping the forthcoming FK8.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, we got a decent shifter for the 9 gens. Let's be the first one to come out with a shifter for the 10 gens, and let's put everything in it so that it's the first and the best. Yeah. I mean, that's a matter of opinion, so like everybody has their own opinion, but like that was the goal, let's drop this thing before anybody else and put whatever we have to put into it to make it awesome. And so I think really it's the 10th gens where people started hearing about us.
Got you.
Because the 10th gen market has just been crazy. And so that shifter, I think, gave us a lot of credibility. And actually, because of that shifter and some of the other products that we make for the 10 gens, we now are actually we're pretty well plugged in with all the race teams at Honda. So we worked with, you saw the like green and purple car that we raced last year?
The one at Grid Life?
What? Yeah, it was the one at Grid Life.
Yeah.
So that car is owned by a fellow named Kevin Boehm, who's actually a test driver for Honda.
Cool.
Yeah, dude, he actually did development on the NSX.
Very cool.
Like test driving. He's done something like 300, 400 laps in Nürburgring.
Whoa.
In Germany.
Very cool.
Dude, it's crazy. So we were fortunate to link up with him. We designed some custom parts just for his race car that like you can't even get for a street car. We gave him some of the street car parts like that shifter, and he worked at Honda and he was partially funded by Honda. And then some of the other teams at Honda were like, "Hey, we need to get on this."
Yeah.
So we work with a rally team that's out of Ohio where Kevin is. They're sponsored by Maxxis, the tire company.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a K-Swap CRZ. They call it the KRZ. They have a 10th Gen SI, I think it is. And then they have a Fit, and they rally race them all. It's dope, dude. Our videographer goes out with them. Powen, most of you, like, if you know about us, you probably know about Powen because he's on our YouTube a lot.
Uh-huh.
He goes out to those rally events and gets to, like, climb in the bushes and shoot videography of the rally races and stuff.
Nice.
Work with them. Do you know Team Honda Research West? They're out on your side of the country.
No.
So they're based out of California. It's a team of like Honda's designers that operate a pair of FK8s that run the 25 Hours of Thunderhill. They've had other cars in the past, but that's what they race right now. Like their car was in the Enki booth at SEMA last year.
Okay, got you.
It's,
yeah. As far as like racing and stuff goes, I'm kind of clueless onto a lot of that.
That's okay, dude. You're like I've watched a bunch of your videos. I don't want to say a bunch, but I tried to watch a good bit of them. And you're way more plugged into like the like grassroots drag industry.
Yeah, drag racing, more of the like Honda culture, SoCal culture of it, and then as much as I've been traveling, just seeing how the culture is in other parts of the country and things like that. But I'm really not the guy to say like I have a FC7 I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what that is, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I know I wouldn't call us like the most knowledgeable OGs of Honda either. I've always appreciated Honda. One of my favorite vehicles I ever owned was a Ruckus.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I
I
used to
love
fucking
Ruckuses.
rip around town on that Ruckus. I loved it.
Yep.
I had it in college.
Yep.
Um, and actually, I'm working on a drift car build right now that's a K-swapped BMW.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
What body
Um,
BMW?
do you know the 318 Ti?
No.
Do you know the E36s,
Yeah.
right? So there's a sedan and a coupe.
Okay.
Okay, so have you seen the one? It's like a coupe, but it's a hatchback, and the back is kind of like squished in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That it's like a goofy looking
It
E36. I
looked like a
love it.
Hyundai accent hatchback, kind of.
It looks like a rear wheel drive EK, like a
Yeah, yeah,
German
yeah.
rear wheel drive EK.
I know what you're
And
talking
I'm doing
about.
a turbo K28-2 swap in it with an
Sick.
S2000 gearbox.
K swap the
It's gonna
world,
have
man.
straight cut gears.
Hell
What's
yeah.
that?
I said K swap the world.
Yeah, dude.
Hell
We're,
yeah.
we're working on that, and then the other race car build we're working on, it's just starting. Is a K20C1 swap, which is the Type R motor,
Yeah.
into an RSX Type S,
Oh, very cool.
and that's going to be a time attack car,
Very
hopefully
cool.
next year.
Got you.
But anyway, so what I wanted to say though, like because we keep coming back to like people, um, starting businesses and what they need
Definitely.
to know, like. I look at you and how you're plugged into the drag racing community and stuff like that. And to me, that's pretty intimidating because I'm in the same group of people. I don't know shit about that.
Yeah.
So like I was coming on here and I was like, man, I hope he doesn't talk about drag because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
Well,
about.
I know a lot about drag racing as far as the culture, but I'm not sure how many of them actually like me out there. But yeah, I come from drag racing just from when I first started, going street racing and then
Yeah.
just being into it
But the
like
point
that.
is, like, you and I took like diametrically opposed paths, and they both got us here. So fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so I don't look down on any other sort of racing. It's just not my
No, I look at
specialty.
it like I
I would
honestly I've
love
seen
to.
drag racing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would love to know more about, time attack racing and, even more of the drifting community and things like that, but it's with time, man, it's hard.
It is hard. Dude, I love going to the grid life events with
Hell
the
yeah.
drifting and the time attack and everything. That is such a good time. And most of the people there, like, I would say, I know that like some racing, sometimes there's like some toxicity in the paddocks from like rivalries.
Yeah.
I would say there's really not a lot of that there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really what attracts it to me. Like everybody's just kind of broing out with each other,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know? And it's a good time. Like we would go and like honestly when we were going with Kevin Boehm, he was driving, so it really wasn't on us to like win races or anything. That was really his thing. We were there just to have a good time, shoot some video. Next year we'll be a little bit more competitive with it, but like there's people out there that are like way more experienced than us and stuff. And man, I don't care if I get beaten by them. Like they
Yeah.
earned it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, Will Awyoung, PZ Tuning Will.
Mm.
You've seen his car before, almost definitely. He's got a really nasty Time Attack ninth gen.
Okay.
Here, let me. Uh, hold on. Can you see that white Civic right there?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've seen it before. You've 100% seen it before.
Okay.
This guy is nasty. That car has gone to Japan, it's gone to Australia, and set lap records all around the world. But like being able to go to those events and hang out with those people and like have a conversation with those people, it's dope, dude. It's humbling, you
Yeah.
know?
Hell yeah.
Like that don't give you the time of day. So I love the camaraderie there.
Dude, all of this shit is so humbling, bro. A lot of these guys that I looked up to when I just first joined the forums are like my good friends now.
Yeah.
Like a Rywire. I remember going on the forums and seeing Rywire and being like, oh my god, that dude is like the best, And we
Yeah, now
just
you guys are like the SoCal clique.
yeah, dude, we talk all the time and it's rarely even about cars. It's awesome, man. But um you just have to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations and you have to
As
humble
many as
yourself.
possible.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I do it all the time. Humble yourself down, go over to somebody, talk to them, and then it's just like with podcasting, man. You talk for a little while, you see their walls coming down, and after that, now you have a connection in that sort of world. But if you
Yep.
don't do that, it's never going to happen. And so
Yeah.
many of these relationships that I have to this day, if I was the one that didn't make that connection, we would have met, never maybe even made a connection, or it would have been in the future. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So really podcasting has helped me out so much, man. I feel like I can go up to anybody and just have a conversation about
Yeah.
dirt, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But it's dope, man. This industry is awesome, and there's so many different subcultures to it, and that's what I really like about it. It's not like that you could get burnt out of it, because if you get burnt out in the car show community or in the race community, there's always something else that you can check out.
Yeah, and there's different circles for all of them. Like if you're going to IBOC and you're like, man, I've been to all the IBOCs, there's other shows that you can check out,
Definitely.
or race series. Like you want to do like, and at Grid Life, what's cool is you can do like, there's people that show up with a drift car and a time attack car.
Yeah,
Do both.
yeah, and then go party at night.
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Do it all again for
So let-
about 3 days. And
So
drink
let's
a lot of ale.
let's fast forward to present day. What are the products that you offer, and is it still around like the 9th, 10th gen Civic kind of stuff, or have you expanded to maybe older makes and models?
I would say the 9th and 10th gen Civic is definitely our core market right now. But we make parts for Hondas basically since the K series started being a motor. So like the EP3s and the RSXs.
Got you.
And we're trying to expand our lineup into having more of the older cars included. So anybody that's like been drooling over a 9th gen or 10th gen shifter we make, like know that we're working on a lot of different shifters for a lot of older platforms to try and get it all inclusive. But I would definitely say that the 9th gen Civic and the 10th gen Civic is like our core market.
Got you.
Yeah.
Is that something that you want to stick with, or in the future, what would you like everything to look like? What would you like the business to look like in the future?
That's hard to say, man. I think that we don't really plan our business that way. We kind of look at it on like a more short-term basis of maybe like 3 to 6 months.
Got you.
And we really just try and like focus on our strengths, and focus on delivering like good products. So I would say like what we do is we come up with maybe like 6 months of products that we want to attack to 12 months of products. We work through those, and then we sit down and we say like, what are we good at now? What does the market need? I don't know if we'll always make just Honda parts. We've definitely talked about getting into other brands. But nothing gets me quite excited right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I really believe in what we're doing. You know what I mean? So I think over the next year you'll see a lot more shifters come out. You're gonna see more like shifting related products, possibly some intakes. It's all gonna be Honda based. And then beyond that, I really don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I kind of wait for it to like reveal itself. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like we don't spend time talking about it and thinking about it, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that I had a plan for a year from now and that I was going to stick to it and only do that.
Yeah.
Because I find out every month that I'm doing something stupid or something that I shouldn't be doing anymore.
Yeah. No.
So I feel like anybody that like goes into a business and they're like, I haven't started this business, but here's my 5-year plan. Like, you don't need a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Definitely, dude. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't even have a 1-year plan.
Fuck a 5-year
But
plan, dude.
I just know that in 5 years that we're gonna be in a better situation than we are now, because 5 years
'cause
ago,
you're gonna do less dumb shit and more smart shit.
yeah, that's it, dude.
Like that's just how it goes. I'd like to know when a 5-year plan has actually worked for something. I feel like maybe if we were like, okay, we're gonna start this $1 billion company and here's the roadmap.
Exactly.
Like if you can think about it at that level, then maybe there's a 5-year roadmap, but you're not gonna know that roadmap unless you've traveled that path before.
Yeah.
You know, like if I told you start Downstar 2, it's this whole new market, and you were like, oh wow, I can apply my same like strategies to that. You could probably build out a few years, right?
Oh yeah.
Like this is how we're going to market. This is how we're going to do products. This is how we're going to treat customers. This is the software we're going to use. This is how much money we're going to save, things like that. But the only reason that you would know that is because you've done it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I've never met someone that would tell me those things and then be right. Like, every business owner I've met does it differently, and it might not work for me.
Yeah, which is the very attractive thing about business. When you talk to so many other business owners, you realize that your path is so different, but they're doing it. They're making it, and they have a business, so you don't have to have the same mentality that they do, the same idea, the same 5-year plan. We're gonna do this, do that. You know, your business can be catered to you, to represent you, and that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want our brand to represent. Definitely, dude. I'm in love with the brand, dude. Every day, it's just everything is Downstar, because Downstar is a representation of me. Everything that we do is a representation of my creativity, and it's not to make more money. You know, as dumb as that kind of sounds, you know, my motivations are not towards money anymore. It's more about, you know, freedom and creativity. And I'm a very creative person, and those are the things that I want to focus on. And whether that's building washers and bolts and things like that, or some other automotive product, or a podcast, whatever it is, dude, that's what I want to focus on. And we're going to get a lot more into actually building cars here in shop, because that's what I see is fun right now, you know. And if you keep running the business how you want to run it and not how anybody else wants you to run it, if you keep doing whatever you're going to do, you're going to have fun for the rest of your life and make money.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why we don't plan it out, because, like, maybe in 5 years, I won't be interested in the same exact things or something. So we just leave it kind of fluid.
I love it, man. So I've seen that you've come out with a lot of other products in different colors other than purple. Was that a conscious decision?
Yeah. So teal is like our secondary color. So you see that come out. We came out with red because people like red.
Yeah.
We just couldn't fight it. We couldn't fight it anymore. Getting too many DMs when you come out with red.
Yeah.
We're like, we really prefer red when it's got more blue in it, so it looks purple. But you know, I mean, people want what people want, and we were like, okay, we'll make red parts, but we try to, like, put our foot down on stuff. Like, shifters always have a purple accent.
Yeah.
And if you don't want a purple accent on it, then go buy a shittier shifter.
Yeah, I feel you.
If you want the best, buy the one with the purple.
Yeah. Branding, bro. That's what it's about. You stick to that, that's your color.
Yep.
I love it, dude. So what can we look forward to in the near future? You guys got anything coming out? Any secrets you could drop?
So we're working on shifters for, like I said, I can't give applications, but we're working on shifters for, like, basically every significant car
Got you.
Honda has made since about 2000.
Got you.
And we're working on a lot of shifter cables as well. We're doing some work with Hosport.
Cool.
To make swapping of the newer motors, the L15 B7s.
Yes.
I think it's B7. And the K20C motors from the Type R and the Accord, easier to swap into the older chassis. So basically, like, everything up to the mid 80s.
I love it. Hell
so
yeah.
Hotsport's been awesome. We've been working with them, trying to, like, basically they're kind of like working on mounts, and we're trying to support them with shifting upgrades.
Very cool.
So it's easier to do the swaps. So that's happening. And then I'm super pumped about the race car builds we have going. I'm super pumped about 2021. So, like, part of the reason that we're building race cars is because I wouldn't say I have enough experience actually building them from the ground up. I've been to Italy, and I've been in Ferrari and done engineering consultation with engineers there, but I've built, like, street cars too, but I've never been like, okay, I'm going to build a nasty race car from the ground up, you know, built motor, full wiring harness in the whole chassis, PDM system,
Got you.
Everything. And so we've got the 318 Ti K28-2 swap. That's going to be like 600 horsepower we're shooting for.
Nice.
And that's going to be a drift car, but the real one that's going to be more, like, geared towards Acuity branding, that's the RSX race car with the K20C1 swap. that hopefully will be racing in Grid Life Time Attack next year. And so I'm super pumped to build those cars and get my hands dirty. That's been keeping me busy on the weekends.
I love it, man. Sounds good, brother. So what's the next event you guys are going to be at vending?
Hopefully IBOC in September.
Oh, sweet. Okay, perfect.
Got a huge booth. We like built all new stuff for the booth. It's like twice as big, really nice displays. It's funny, we built it in like February.
Yeah.
And then boom, COVID hit, and we were like, shit, what are we gonna do with this nice booth? Yeah. So, but hopefully IBOC, and I'm super pumped about it. I've never been to IBOC ever.
Very
I've only been
cool.
to California like twice.
Really?
So, yeah. So I've never been to IBOC. We're going to that. And then the week after IBOC in September.
That's the Import Alliance.
After, it'll be Import Alliance.
And that's Atlanta Import Alliance.
Yeah.
Got
So that should be at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Got you. Have you ever done an H Day before?
I haven't. I've had a bunch of people tell me to go to H Day, but it's just, you know how it is. Like you like plan events, and you're just like, I don't know if I could squeeze another one in, man. Yeah. I know we got to do it. We'll probably do it in 2021.
2021. You have to make that for sure. Make it happen.
Let's plan one together.
Okay.
And go to the same one.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Multiple, right?
There's
2 of them.
There's 3 of them throughout the year, but of course this year is just weird.
What's the one that you like to go to?
All of them. I'll go to all of them. So
let's coordinate. Let's go to the same one, and we'll chill. We can get our booths next to each other.
Definitely, man. Especially for IBOC too. I'll go ahead and talk to Ryan if we could get next to each other. That would be cool. And then if you can come down to the shop, that would be awesome, man. We can hang out here.
I'd love to come down to the shop. We're gonna try and be there for a few extra days.
Perfect.
So I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll bring some masks.
Hell yeah.
If you're ever coming down to New Orleans, like for vacation or anything, similarly, hit us up.
Yeah, definitely, man. I would love to make it out there.
New Orleans and take you out for dinner in Baton Rouge or something.
Awesome, Russ. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. It was great to have this convo with you because I've seen you around. We've had a few conversations, but I wanted to know more about the business, man. I'm glad we got to sit down.
I really appreciate you having us on, and I'm sorry I spooked you with the golf cart in Atlanta that time. I was like screaming, I'm like Frank, and I'm like driving the go-kart, and you're like, who the fuck is this? And dude, I was like, oh shit, he doesn't know me at all. I'm just creeping on this dude.
It really takes me a few times and significant conversations to remember somebody. I really wish.
It's all good. It's all good.
You know, everybody listening, dude, I wish that I can.
And the truth is, I saw you so many times before then, like on Instagram and stuff. So I see you, and I'm like, it's fucking Frank.
Yeah.
You know? And then you're like, who is this crazy asshole in a golf cart?
I love meeting crazy people.
It's all good. I felt bad afterwards. I was like, maybe I should have done that more chill.
Nah, you're good, bro.
Running up on him on a golf cart.
Well, I'm glad we were able to have this conversation, brother.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So before we get out of here, dude, let's go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at.
Okay, so our website is acuityinstruments.com. We're on Instagram at Acuity Instruments. And then we also have a YouTube channel that we update pretty frequently with hype videos, really solid install guides, stuff like that. That's youtube.com/Acuity Instruments.
Rock and roll, man. So we'll have it listed below. And big shout out to you guys, man. I've seen you ever since 2016. I've been keeping an eye. For everybody that's listening, I keep an eye on everything that goes on in the community, every brand that is coming out. And whether I say anything or not, I'm watching. And I really just like how you guys are moving out here, dude. I like the products that you're coming out with, the way that you market, just the way that you hold yourself online. That says a lot. Because there's a lot of newer brands that come around that don't do that, and it's very off-putting to people that have been around.
I really appreciate that. We're like, really, our only goal is to just like bring the community up.
Hell yeah, I love it, man. Anything we could ever do to help out, please let me know.
Just give me a tour of Downstar, dude.
Shit, you come hang out here, dude. We could do another podcast in studio, 18 and over podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Partying here, man. But guys, make sure you check out Acuity. We'll have it listed below. Check out the YouTube channel. And please check out our sponsor, Heel Toe Automotive. They've been around since 2002, supplying you guys with the Honda parts that you need. And they actually have a special deal, man. So if you listen to the commercial that was in the middle of the podcast, go hit them up and take advantage of that deal. That's heeltoeauto.com or on Instagram at heeltoeautomotive. And Russ, thank you, man. I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you, Frank.
Of course, man. This is Downtime with Downstar, episode 181, and we're out. Peace.